Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the brand new 2022 Season 1 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Disney Plus / Marvel Studios original show, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. This is 9 episodes long, started in August. Here we are, mid of October. Bro, this was incredible, and it's so... Now, it's so modern, and it's so important to see this because so many trolls bashed the hell out of the show before the show even aired. And then so many trolls trolled all of the interwebs, all of the message boards, all of the review sites, so many different things. How terrible it is, She-Hulk doesn't deserve powers, she's not the Hulk, etc., right? So, Jennifer Walters is Bruce Banner's cousin, right? And they are in a car accident together. His blood winds up in a cut on her arm. She gets Hulk powers, right? See, episode 1 is all about training in Mexico, kind of a thing, learning to control. But she goes, you know, Bruce, I'm a woman. Like, I face these kinds of things every day. So it's very interesting getting the different dynamic. Like, superheroes, a man's world, right? Women are just secretaries. And it's an awful mindset. Females, right? That female mindset. Bro this, bro that. But in a misogynistic way. So to see that addressed as a full antagonist throughout the show, I don't care what trolls think of me on the computer, on the internet, you know, these people deserve to be, you know, brought up to justice, stuff like that, right? So it's so cool seeing that from a lawyer perspective, but from a superhero who is also a lawyer perspective, right? Where does she get her suits from? Who can she trust? Who can she not trust? Is she going to stay hooking up with Matt Murdock, a.k.a. Daredevil, who is in 2 episodes? So cool. So cool. And then having Thor come back, not Thor, Hulk come back at the very end, because he's taken by Sicarians for some reason, back to Sakaar. Why? Why is he in Sakaar? So then he comes back with his son, Scar, and you're like, bro, what happened? What happened during all this time? Like, so there has to be a Planet Hulk film at some point, or a miniseries, TV series, something, right? But throughout the entirety of the show, it's Jen's stuff. It's can she date people as just Jen? Will people like her as just Jen? Do people only like her as She-Hulk? Can she find someone who only likes her as Jen and doesn't care about She-Hulk? She's representing now different super-powered individuals at this law firm. So she's running a superhero division as She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Her first battle was against Titania, played by Jamala. I can never remember her name. Jamila Jamal, something like that. Incredible actress that she is. Her as Titania is perfect. So there's just a lot of things going on legally, law stuff-wise, deposition this, trial that, things like that, right? But a lot of mutants are in this as well. And it's so cool seeing these D-list Marvel characters come into fruition as characters on screen. So cool. Abomination coming into play. We know that the beginning of this show happens before Shang-Chi, excuse me. Because Abomination is finding Wong in Shang-Chi. And then we get in Madripoor, I think, right? And so we get Wong, and we get his new friend Madison, who is just so cool. Having all these things come into play, and her ruining The Sopranos for Wong, and so many different things happen within this show, and it's neat watching it episode to episode because it's its own little story. Like, certain characters are introduced and like storylines are wrapped up, but things can lead into other things, and it's neat having these new introductions of characters. Madison specifically being in 2 episodes, 1 episode, an awesome character that has no relevance to any plot point, but it's just so over the top and so awesome. It's just so fun to watch. And then episode 8 with Jen, you know, destroying screens because her personal information and, you know, a sex tape was being leaked at a Female Lawyer of the Year presentation, right, an award ceremony. Who is running this troll site? Why do they continue to roll this troll site? How do you infiltrate the troll site? And then her friends and coworkers figuring out a way to get in. Finding out that Emil is a part of that. But then at the end of this, the middle of the last episode, breaks the 4th wall. And Jen breaks the 4th wall throughout the entirety of the show, right? She-Hulk talks to us. Jen talks to us as characters. Very much like Deadpool does in the comics and in the movies. Jen very much does that in the comics and in the show. So how do you address this 4th wall breaking? right? In a Marvel show, not a movie, because that's Deadpool stuff, but this is different. This is She-Hulk now doing it. This is Jennifer Walters now doing it. Stuff happens at the end, and she's like, no, this is stupid. Why are these plot points coming into it? Why is this character here? This makes no sense. And she breaks this is so, it was so meta. She blurps out, she takes out an inhibitor chip, blurps out to the Disney Plus home screen of Marvel, jumps from her title to Marvel Assembled title, which is like the behind the scenes, the making of the shows, the movies, stuff like that, right? And so she goes into that in Marvel Studios in California and goes into the writer's room and says, why are you doing this? This is stupid, X, Y, and Z. And they're saying, no, Kevin decides this. And we all know Kevin Feige is the, executive head president of Marvel Studios. What he says goes, kind of thing. He gets the final decision. But Kevin in this is an acronym, Kevin, who is just an AI who controls Marvel Studios. And it's just so neat having this all come together, so meta. And Jen literally sits down, has a conversation with this AI and says, when are we seeing X-Men? Why these storylines? Why do we have to do this at night? Why is the bad guy, getting my blood? That we've done this. We've seen this. This is super soldier serum all over again. We're done. We're tired of this. Why is Hulk randomly coming into this? Why is Emil an abomination again after he, is breaking parole? Why is this happening at night? This should happen during the day. And so it's just, and they talk about how expensive it is for visual effects, that Kevin wants her to change back into human form when the camera's away from her. That way the visual effects team doesn't have to do it. And she does it. It's so cool. And then they sort of agree to the ending that she wants, that it's going to be wrapped up. Todd is going to be brought to justice as Hulk King, the, creator of this troll site. And so having Matt Murdock come back, meeting her family because he's in LA for the week. It's just so incredible to see, because you've never seen anything like this before. And she literally goes into a full monologue on why people are bashing the show, because in the show she's saying why people are bashing the show, because Marvel's all about big plots and big explosions and all this stuff. And that's not what this show is. This show is a legal comedy. And it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, balls, right? Well, I'm going to pull a Sean Giambrone and who plays Adam Goldberg in the Goldbergs, and he just goes, oh, balls all the time, right? That's one of those oh, balls moment. You're like, can this be done? This has never been done before. This has never been done before, where a character that you're watching complains about their own ending, and they're like, the hell with this, we're changing this. And they break, and they go to a writing room, and they talk to an exec who's actually an AI, and I can't even form words. I did not expect how incredible this show is, and it's frustrating why the show had to be how it is. And I say that because there's so many trolls that still bash the show, even though the show addressed trolls bashing the show. If trolls didn't exist, the show wouldn't exist. I will say that. The show wouldn't exist to its entirety, I will say that. So now it's a matter of what happens next. We talked about a season 2 within this fourth world breaking. We talked about potentially on the big screen. We talked about this. We talked about that, right? What happens next? I'm so excited to see what happens next for Jennifer Walters. I'm so excited to see what happens next for She-Hulk. I'm so excited to see what happens next for Hulk, for Scar. So now we have technically 3 canon Hulk characters: Hulk, Scar, and She-Hulk. Hulk King Todd is not a thing anymore, because we took away the Jen's blood as the super serum thing, right? Because she didn't like that plot. So that's gone. So now we have 3. So now it's a matter of 3. So now it's what happens next, right? I did not expect to like this as much as I did. And my parents love this show as well. I watch it with them all the time. My father is now obsessed with She-Hulk. He needs a She-Hulk doll. I have to find one to display proudly in his collection of things. I can't wait. It is a show that took me by surprise. I'm very impressed with how they handled this. I'm very impressed with how they executed it, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. She-Hulk Attorney at Law Season 1, Disney Plus, absolutely amazing. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.